It's the show. It's wishing you a very happy holiday. Brew asked me what I got. Oh my goodness! It's gonna be, what is it?
For you. Open it.
Did Brew get something?
Open it.
That's good, bad.
Don't worry about Brew.
It's either gonna be a very expensive watch or something about Mac Jones making fun of
Just
me.
open
A
it.
snake? You think a snake might pop out?
No, this
No.
is
Just
too light
open
for a
it.
snake. Maybe some garden variety.
You
the
wrap
packaging,
well,
no,
too.
it's not a microphone. I put it in a box. So
You have a
it would
microphone?
wrap well. Again, it's not what the box is.
Wow.
You gotta open it, take it out of the box.
You know what?
Well, if you give someone a microphone box, it
I'm
certainly
telling
looks
you,
like.
But I'm telling you it's not.
Let me just look.
Don't worry about what that.
You shouldn't have.
I know. It's perfect given.
It's in the news cycle.
It's in the news
Is this
cycle.
my own now?
Yes.
I mean, there were a lot of
For
turnovers.
today.
This is really nice. I like it's wrapped in plastic.
Yeah, I did wanted to keep it
Bubble wrap.
safe.
I thought that when I saw the look on your face.
I mean, the guy had 5 turnovers. So multiple times, the ball just slipped out of his hands. You sent us pictures of your 10-year-old son
Holy
bombing
cow.
a football.
Brew, you do have a point about that.
There it
grab
is.
the ball.
Merry Christmas.
Wow,
buddy.
thank you very much.
Yeah, no
I really
problem.
appreciate it. We start with the Spurs beating the Thunder yet again. OKC is 26-5, but have lost to San Antonio 3 times in the last 12 days. Spurs have won 10 of their last 12. Brew, what have Wemby and the Spurs proven against the Thunder this year?
Well, first of all, thank God for the Spurs. Because, and I mean, Adam Silver should feel that way, and just regular basketball fans should feel that way. Because, and we get it, OKC had a light schedule. It's going to be the toughest in the league going forward. But still, the way they were running through the league, winning by an average of 17 points a game, it looked like there's no drama here. They're going to win it. You know, it's a question of how badly they beat these teams by in the playoffs. And now there is legitimate drama. And not just the Spurs, because I do think the Spurs have proven they are a legitimate contender this year. But I think Denver is right there. They're doing all that they're doing without a few guys who are injured. So I think now it's really in question, because remember, everybody thought Boston was going to repeat. And before that, Denver. So now
Milwaukee.
it looks like, right. It's really up in the air who wins it. So that's great. But they proved they are, like I said, a legit contender, but a nightmarish matchup for OKC. And as OKC was running through the league, I was a bit baffled. And I've covered the league since 1995 as a reporter. And I was like, they're a very good team, but they got one true superstar. And it's not like it was Shaq and Kobe. It's not like it was LeBron, Wade, and Bosh. It's not like it was, Steph, Clay, and Kevin Durant, and Draymond. Like, one legit superstar. Jalen Williams is good. He's a true all-star.
But he's been out a lot of the year and hasn't been playing
and they
his
still
best.
were doing it. And Chet is, potentially, I think, could be a star. Some question that. But still, for them to be doing what they were doing, the roster did not equate to going 24-1 and winning the way they were doing it. And I think the Spurs have kind of balanced things out. The Spurs are more talented. If you look at that roster, obviously Wemby is just an outlier. But then Stephon Castle, Dylan Harper, and De'Aaron Fox. Not to mention, Harrison Barnes is
Devin Vassell's a good player.
Devin Vassell's great because he's a shooter.
Yeah, Luke Cornett's
you see
a good
Keldon,
man.
he's been all right, a good role player.
Yeah.
Keldon Johnson's balling. But so I think they have more talent. And like I said last week, they match the Thunder's energy on the perimeter and intensity, and they have more talent. Lou Dort, Alex Caruso, A.J. Mitchell, God bless them, they're not superstar talent.
Yeah.
These guys are star talents.
We hit it with the God bless them.
But here's the other thing.
Dort might be a star talent in the NFL.
Well, I was going to say,
or Australian
he
rules
looks like
football.
he could definitely be a star NFL player. But they play, when Wemby says they play the right way, they play 5-man basketball. Like, when you watch them, they don't defer to Wemby. They don't play through him, which I think they should play through him in certain moments for sure. And part of me is like, I want to see this guy wreck the stat book and really put up a bunch of stats. But they have empowered, give credit to head coach Mitch Johnson, they have empowered that entire team to go for yours. Like they all have the green light. And when you play 5-man basketball, most teams don't do that. Even the Thunder, Shea takes way more shots than everybody else. Everything kind of goes through Shea. And so I think they're just everybody having the green light and having big-time talent. I think that is a problem for OKC. Now, look, again, will they be able to beat Denver? We'll see. But they're a contender.
So the most interesting part to me about this specific matchup from the Spurs side is it has not been just the Wemby show.
Right.
Wemby in the 3 games against OKC is playing 23 minutes a game, giving you 17, 8, and 2 with 3 total blocks, so 1 block a game. Now, that actually understates his impact because when you show the on-off, which we can put up for you, to me, this is instructive in 2 ways. One is, so in 70 minutes with Wemby on the court, the Spurs have won by 47 points. But it's also, so they are dominating the Wemby minutes. But it's also noteworthy that in 74 minutes, nearly 2 full games, with him off the court, they're damn near playing him even. Well, you know, I mean, minus 10 over the course of 74 minutes, it's a few possessions.
Right.
And
but
so,
that's a heck of an impact.
No.
His
His minutes have won them the games. But to your point, Brew, when other teams, when they play the Thunder, lose by 20, the fact that we now have 74 minutes of them playing without Wemby and still...
That's about 3 points a game.
Right. Yeah, it's being competitive, being right in it, speaks to the fact that I wonder if other teams around the league can use as a bit of a blueprint the non-Wemby minutes. How do we stay attached to this team? Because to me it seems like if you have a team that is as young as the Thunder are and as hungry as the Thunder are and close to match their athleticism, you can give them trouble. Like that, you can see. Like I think that
Minnesota beat them. We'll see. If that,
but like teams like that, we look at as contender adjacent, that I would say are drawing dead against the Thunder, are teams like the Warriors or the Lakers or the older star-laden teams. What you need is depth and athleticism, not, you know what I mean, a couple superstars. So that's the first thing about the Spurs side of it. About the Thunder side of it, and this is what made me relieved, kind of like Brew was. To me, these 3 games proved this is not going to be a cakewalk. And I think it's worth noting, we have not had a team cakewalk to a second straight championship in 25 years. The 2001 Lakers were the last team to do it. The 2010 Lakers were down 3-2 in the finals, came back and won. The 2013 Heat faced a Game 7 in the conference finals and were down 3-2 in the finals. These are the teams that ended up repeating. They still, the 2018 Warriors with Kevin Durant were down 3-2 in the conference finals to Houston, and Chris Paul pulled his hamstring. And we have not had a team that's the defending champion just roll through everyone since the 2001 Lakers peak Shaq and peaking Kobe, that team that went 15-1 in the postseason. And I do wonder, KW, if this team at all reminds people for good or for bad of the 16 Warriors, a team that had won the title the year before a little ahead of schedule. People thought they were going to be good, but they ended up being great, winning 67 games, but also a team that people thought they've got one superstar, and then not, like Klay Thompson could be a star one day. Draymond hadn't yet fully established himself. And then the 2016 Warriors started 24-0. This team started 24-1. They looked like this juggernaut. And then They faced elimination 4 times in those playoffs. They were down 3-1 in the conference finals and ended up losing the finals. So that does give you a little bit of hope. Sounds bad because it sounds like we're rooting against the Thunder. But what we all hope for is to have suspense and competitiveness and the outcome be in doubt, which it didn't feel like 2 weeks ago. It didn't feel like this was going to be in doubt 2 weeks ago, KW.
Right. Move on to the Lakers. Lakers and LeBron have provided us with dozens of memorable Christmas Day games. This was not one of them. Lakers never led all games. Şengün had 12 rebounds, same amount as all of the Lakers starters. LA out-rebounded 48-25. JJ Redick might have ruined his Christmas. You tell your parents.
I can do better things to do.
You tell your parents, practice starting 15 minutes early. Get them here. And tell them maybe to pick. A lot of youth basketball energy there, not necessarily.
Well, that is his background.
right. Well, look.
It is.
I know, but still it's absurd.
Yeah. You guys know I'm Bruto. I'm here for the hard coaching. All right? However, most coaches that coach like this, and honestly, you can only really think of a few, but they have multiple championships. Pat Riley had that type of clout. Greg Popovich, you know, they have multiple championships. When you talk like that, and he might have this, but you have to have 2 things. One is the full backing of your front office and ownership. All right?
I think he has that.
Yeah, when the Big Three first went to Miami, they weren't feeling Eric Spoelstra. And part of it was they felt he carried himself with a swagger they didn't feel he had earned. JJ Redick is doing that. Because I'm sure many people watch that like, you won, how many rings do you have? As a player and as a coach? Were you a lockdown defender, as a player? I mean, so that's the first thing. You need, now, if you have the backing of the front office and it's like players can complain, players can get mad, then they ultimately will have to play for you. And that's what happened in Miami, and the rest is history. The second thing you need is the backing of your superstars. And I'm sure he's not talking about Luka. Does he have Luka's backing? I'm not sure.
Feels like it.
Is he talking? I bet Nick, DeAndre Ayton, and Rui Hachimura.
Ayton had 2 rebounds yesterday. Right. I think he's a little frustrated with DeAndre Ayton.
That's the business you're in.
Yeah, I agree.
Give me a break.
But here's the thing, and I mentioned superstars. Is he talking about LeBron? I wonder. I don't know. I mean, obviously they did the podcast together. They had a good relationship. I imagine they still have a good relationship, and they, LeBron certainly backed him for the head coach. But look at the numbers. These are the numbers. And LeBron's 40. But I'm saying the numbers with him on and off the court, they're better with him off the court. And I know AJ is into analytics JJ's analytics and stats and all that. Minus 59 with LeBron on, plus 44 with him off. Now, I'm not saying they're better without LeBron James. But I'm saying if you're JJ Redick and he's all in the numbers and he's looking at that defensive rating, I'm wondering, is he talking about LeBron? And that would make this thing really interesting if that's the case. I don't think they're better without LeBron. I think they're better. Now, they haven't been healthy since LeBron's back for the most part. But I do think they're better with LeBron kind of playing more of a role, like when he first came back, getting a lot of assists, rebounding. If he can put emphasis on the defensive end at this age, that'd be good. But let Luka and Austin be the top scorers. I think that's when they're at their best. But I just wonder about this one.
But I also, to your point about Ayton, that's the business you're in. If your team is not able to function defensively without the in 3 days 41-year-old at 70,000 minutes locking down, then you have a bigger problems than that. And it means your plan was poor. And so listen, Tim McMahon said this morning on the great podcast Hoop Collective, our friend Wendy does, that Don Nelson used to say coaches have about 6 bullets a year they can fire going after their players. and he thinks Redick's already fired all 6.
All
2 days ago.
All 6
well, because I don't know how. 2 days ago, he was like, we got a guy on this team doesn't know what a flood concept is. Basically calling the guy, like, buddy, you're the coach. And so JJ Redick, I think, is very sharp. I think has obviously, and he will tell you about it. He went to Duke. I don't know if you know. High IQ. I think at times in the media and as a coach, we have seen a slight lacking in EQ where, all right, how much of this is on me? Because I'll show you a different graphic. Part of the coach's job is sometimes hard decisions about starting lineups. And here's a fact about the Lakers, and this is not all on LeBron. The Lakers starting 5 doesn't work. That's their numbers and where that would rank amongst the league.
Well, that's not good.
That's not good.
I didn't know it was last.
That's a
it would right minus. So they start off every game awful. So that to be clear, that's not. I don't know that they rank last amongst all starting lineups. That is, if that were a team, if they played 48 minutes, where it would rank in all those categories. JJ.
I hate to say it, I kind of like that starting lineup.
Yeah, well, guess
on paper.
On paper, but it doesn't work.
Your 5 best players.
Right, it's your 5 best players, but it doesn't work.
No.
So then you got to figure something out. And how much of the Lakers' issues are on what JJ's talking about, which I'm sure he's correct. Some guys aren't locked in. There is not a real night-to-night dedication defensively. I think that this team...
Who's not locked in?
I mean, I think...
That's the question.
Is it DeAndre Ayton, who the Trailblazers are paying to play against? And then you're like shocked that he's not Wemby?
Yeah, this is what you deal with Ayton. I mean, he's had his really good moments.
And I'm not putting all this on
no, but is it Rui?
I really don't...
It's a question.
And it might be some of it might be frustration with Luka on the defensive end. Some of it might be frustration with LeBron. That's moment, like that. But the thing is this, to Bruce's initial point, I do not think JJ Redick has earned enough clout. That's the wrong word, but to constantly be doing this without be pointing as many fingers without also pointing thumbs. I would like to hear occasionally from JJ, I didn't have them ready. Even if in his head, these lazy bumps, I had them so ready. No, just taking, you know what I mean? You can go too far with that, with like what I think Sirianni was doing last year in the NFL, where any issue, he was like, "That's on me. It's on me. It's on me. I got to do that." But it feels. JJ to me is acting as if these guys just listened to me,
correct,
everything would be fixed.
Completely.
And I don't think, while I'm sure LeBron can at times be a frustrating guy to coach, and Luka, we have at 4, this version of LeBron, and Luka, we know how, at maddening he can be at times just watching, and Ayton is Ayton, all of that. But that's why they pay you a lot of money to coach the team.
Doesn't it feel funny just having all these games and watching Thunder Spurs and then listening to JJ, like, JJ, you're coaching a 40-year-old guy, an offensive prodigy who's not good defensively, DeAndre Ayton, who has had multiple spots and has never been known for tenacity, and Rui just kind of fits, and Austin is okay, but really might be like a number 1 on another team, but not a defensive great player. It's like, you got to coach the guys you have. You're not coaching the Spurs. Right. You're not coaching the Thunder. Just, hey, we're going to score a lot of points and let the chips fall where they may. It's not
as odd as it sounds, giving up 119 to the Rockets, if you'd have told me going into Christmas the Rockets are going to score 119, I'd have thought, all right, I think the Lakers will probably win.
Yes, we have to have a team that gets 120.
The problem last night, oddly, was the offense. Right. And that's been during this losing streak.
Reeves
and losing Reeves is important. I feel like he is quickly pulling away at the thread of how many times he can yell at it, publicly yell at his team.
Lakers have lost 3 in a row, and this Saturday practice is going to be a doozy. Moving on. Jokic set an NBA record yesterday, 18 points in overtime, to bring home Denver's 8th win in 10 games. Here's his full stat line. 56 points, 16 rebounds, 15 assists. Teammate Peyton Watson, stunned. On the call today, you asked, what are we seeing? Did you come up with an answer?
Yeah, I think we are seeing, Nick, the best player ever without multiple rings.
Great answer.
Now, that would include Oscar Robertson, Jerry West, Garnett, Dirk, guys like that.
And all the 0 ring guys.
Yes, Barkley.
Yeah,
Malone, Karl Malone. Moses Malone had 1, so I'm including him. Like
Dr. J?
Dr. J has 3 by
3, because I knew it.
I hate to put him ahead of Dr. J. Dr. J got 3, 2 in the ABA.
Yeah.
This dude is phenomenal. And he's about to average a triple-double, 30 points and a triple-double, leading the league in rebounds and assists. For the 2nd straight year, he's going to average his triple-double. He's making that he's averaging a triple-double. That's what he does. All right. But this is going to blow your minds if you guys don't already know it. His PER, player efficiency rating, which probably get a boost nowadays because of the three-point shooting, but still, his PER for this season is 35.4. 35.4. The second best PER in history is 32.8, and he has it.
Yeah.
Jokic. LeBron and Jordan, the best PERs of their career for a season was 31.7. Jordan slightly had 31.7, LeBron 31.67 or something, So it's very close. Right.
Close. Yeah.
But that's my point. That is the type of season he is having. And if he gets multiple rings, Nick, it's going to be hard to keep him out of the top 10. I mean, some people are trying to throw him in there already.
Yeah.
But here I will give him this, because everybody that you and I think most people have in the top 10 has multiple rings.
Every single
All right?
Yep.
In his defense, though, Bill Russell won his rings, Bob Cousy, Sam Jones, John Havlicek, a bunch of all Hall of Famers. Kareem won his with Oscar and Magic.
Yeah.
Shaq won his with Kobe and Dwayne Wade. Wilt won his with Jerry West, and then his first one, Hal Greer, who's a Hall of Famer, and Billy Cunningham, really good players. And Elijah Wan won his, with Clyde Drexler, his second one, but his first one was about.
Yeah.
So the guys that have won multiple rings have had some legendary type perimeter guy with them.
Yep.
He doesn't, as good as Jamal Murray is, he's not that. And so if they don't win multiple rings, Nick, one, you can argue about him being in the top 10. But if you're Denver, you have to be ashamed of yourself. And I get it. It's Denver. It's a small market. They may feel like, hey, we got our 1 ring. If you're Denver and you don't win more than 1 ring with this guy, you should be ashamed of yourself.
And I'm a little ashamed I was so late to the party on Jokic, but I showed up. And he's spellbinding in games like yesterday, and is just, for today's basketball, a close to perfect offensive player. Yeah. Like the passing, the shooting, all of it. And so here's what I'm comfortable saying, Brew, because we not surprisingly went close to the same place. I think I'm ready to say that if he were to win another ring, he's the best center since Kareem, which would vaunt him ahead of Shaq and Hakeem. The Russell Wilt stuff's too hard to argue. You know what I mean? That's why I'm saying since Kareem.
Big from you, because you're a big Hakeem defense.
And Shaq.
Right. I mean, I think Hakeem's one of the most underrated players ever. But so this is something our friend Bill Simmons talked about in relation to Giannis, but I think it applies to Jokic, which is playoff series, because it's not just like ring count, it's also deep playoff runs. So I put what I think is everyone, this should be your top 12. We could argue about the order, but the 12 greatest players ever. I wish that was a little bigger, I apologize. But it's playoff series 1. 41, 37, 30, 32, 27, 18, 35, 33, 23. Hakeem with 16. 32 for Shaq, 24 for Steph. Joker's at 10. And so it is, Joker's at 10 playoff series won. I think Giannis, which is when Bill was talking about, is at 9. Like, so it's, even if he wins MVP, and as brilliant as he is.
Very few have 4.
It feels unfair to those 12 men on that list to, you know what I mean, if he has a third of the playoff series victories as Kobe, to be like, he's better than Kobe. You know what I mean? And so, I do think, though, Brew, if he gets to, I believe Hakeem deserves to be in that company. He has 2 titles. He has 3 finals appearances, 2 titles. If they can win another title, that I'd put him in that company.
Yeah. Here, quickly, he is as unique, almost as unique as Wemby. Like, Wemby's just, we've never seen anything like. He's almost that unique. A 7-footer doing the things he does. The first point center.
Welcome back. Broncos were favored by almost 14 points, but ended up holding on for the win against the, hold on, who is that again? Kansas City Chiefs. Both threw for 182, 1 late TD in the air, 1 rushing touchdown. Nick, how should Bronco fans feel about this win?
Embarrassed. Wow. Denver ain't got it. I've been
Interesting take.
I've been dancing around this all year, and maybe I obviously did not believe the Broncos could be nearly as good as they are going into the year. I have been proven dead wrong on that, and I am now giving myself a chance to be dead wrong about the same team with basically the same take twice in 1 year. Rarely done feat. But I owe the audience honesty. And it's one thing to play a bunch of close games. It's another thing to play a bunch of close games where you're trailing late or tied late to the worst teams in the league. That's what I've been saying. So again, KW, every discussion is not a reverse discussion.
Wasn't even talking about the Patriots. You do make a good point.
And so, look at these time scores and who they're playing in these games that they found themselves in. These are teams that would have the 1st, 2nd, 4th, and 7th picks of this year's draft, and whatever you'd consider the Chiefs, with Chris Aludukin playing quarterback. But the Chiefs, just as is, have the 10th pick, and that's with Mahomes playing a bunch of the games. They're down to the Jets with 5 minutes left. They're down 3 scores to the Giants with 10 minutes left. They're tied with the Raiders in the final moments of the 3rd quarter. They go to overtime with Washington, and they're tied with what's left of the Chiefs with 1:50 left. That Brew is not a team that is about to play back to back to back, and if they don't get the bye, to back excellent games to win a championship or get to a championship. I don't think they have that level of consistency, and I'll add one other thing, Brew. I don't think the defense has been quite as scary the last few weeks.
That's true.
Certainly not last week.
Right. Last week they allowed 34, and this week the Chiefs with 5th and 6th string offensive linemen, the problem wasn't the Denver pass rush. I'm not going to act like the Chiefs offense hummed or whatever, but it wasn't that Denver pass rush that was leading the league in sacks early on. And so I don't think they should feel good about it, Brew.
I do. I agree with some of what you said, and I'll get to that. But it's a win in the NFL.
Oh, I know you're not.
On the road.
You got to be kidding me.
Hold on.
You got to be kidding me.
I know you're mad because I'm not about to bow down to your Patriots.
I'm not even talking about the Patriots.
But let me say this. Last week, the Chiefs understandably had an emotional letdown.
Yes.
I think this week, obviously, they may not have played their best without Mahomes, but I think they were, as the champions they are, I'm sure they were like, no. We are not going out like that. We got stomped by the freaking Tennessee Titans. This might be Travis Kelce's last game in Arrowhead. Mm-hmm. We are going to show the world we are some champions, all right? And conversely, Nick, I think Denver probably has somewhat of a – you're thinking you're going to face Patrick Mahomes and this rival, this all-time great team, and instead it's – I can't even pronounce
Chris
it.
Aludukin.
Yeah, at quarterback. Okay, so I think there was a letdown by Denver and not by the Chiefs. So I think there was that. I also think you're right about playing bad teams close. The Chargers and the Eagles lost to the Giants. The Bills lost to Atlanta and Miami. Like, good teams lose to bad teams all the time in this league. They played a bad team close, and some other bad teams close. Now, look, where I agree with you is their offense is obviously a question mark. And you're right, the defense hasn't been as great, but I still believe in that defense. But Bo Nix is great in the fourth quarters, but not very good in the first three. So there are several teams I would probably think can beat them in the playoffs in the AFC, but I don't think they should be kicking themselves over this win.
What do you want to do with Bo Nix here? Bo Nix, OptaStats, he's 117 passing yards, 55 rushing yards away from having 7,500 passing yards, 750 rushing in the first 2 seasons. Only Cam and Kyler. He's got another one. He's up against wins, right, with Russell Wilson. Most wins all time, first 2 years. Like, when you watch the game, it's not like electric quarterback. But then you look at the stats and, like, this guy's doing historically great stuff.
So
his career.
I wouldn't call it historically great.
He's a lot of 2 guys, but one of them's Bo Nix.
Yeah, and another one's Kyler. I think that speaks to the health, availability, coming in baseline ready, which I will give him credit for. You know what I mean? Not taking a long time to get pro ready. So those things you do get credit for, but that to me, that none of those numbers translate to, that means he's going to be a star. Like, that means he's going, he deserves credit for it, but I don't know that it projects out to stardom the way one of 3 players ever to do something sounds like it would. Listen, I agree with you, Brew, that any team can lose any weekend. I get that. And the Broncos deserve credit for not having lost many of these games. I understand that. But when I show you, those are 5 games against maybe 5 of the 6 or 5 of the 7 worst teams in the NFL. If you consider the Chiefs with a third-string quarterback and all the other guys they put on IR over the week because the year was over, one of those teams. I didn't even include week 1 against the Titans. It's a 1-point game in the fourth quarter. So it's one thing to have blow a game. It's another thing for 6 of your 16 games this year, you are playing the worst teams in football, and it is a dogfight in the fourth quarter. That, to me, is concerning for them.
Well, look, because they don't have a prolific quarterback, that's going to be their lot. Like, it's going to be we win maybe low-scoring games with the defense, and he's clutch. So he's big in the fourth quarter. Again, I think they got warts, and Jacksonville's more balanced between offense and defense. The Patriots are more balanced between offense and defense. Buffalo has a much better quarterback. Like, there are other things. Even the Chargers, too, have a better quarterback. Like, there are things to poke at with them. But am I writing them off completely in the AFC? No.
I've got to – that's probably – I'm going to save it.
Okay, well, then can I say something real quick?
Go.
If the Chargers – beat the Texans this weekend, which is 1.5-point spread. Yeah. I understand people think the Texans are going to win, but Chargers could win. Then Chargers-Broncos is for that division, which means and it seems like that snuck up on us. But if the Broncos end up winning, either the Chargers lose this weekend and or the Broncos win next weekend and they get the 1 seed, they can reset, everything goes through Denver, bad weather with that defense, all feel one way. If they lose to the Chargers, and I would argue they are currently playing some of their worst ball of the year. Denver, that is. Yeah. Getting blown out by Jacksonville and then whatever that was last night. And all of a sudden they're on the road in Pittsburgh to start the playoffs. I won't like their chances. And so I
wonder if we chalk this up to it's like, it's Christmas Day, but also a Thursday night game.
Yeah,
it felt more Thursday night.
I would feel better about that if they hadn't just come off their worst performance of the year. Like, if they had beaten Jacksonville and it was one thing, but that should have been the wake-up, and it wasn't. And had they lost, as you know, they basically lose. The game was really important. They lose the 1 seed if they lose.
Chris Jones stay on side. It would have been nice. On the other side of the ball, Travis Kelce introduced to loud cheers in what might have been his last game at Arrowhead. 5 catches for 36 yards. Do you think that was Travis's last game at Arrowhead?
I hope not. And maybe this is wish casting. Mm-hmm. But I'm now buying into the Kevin Wildes theory.
Oh, I'm ready for it. Told you.
That Travis Kelce is going to announce his retirement. I have no insight on this at all, and this is probably just a combination of what I think is going to happen and what I want to happen. I think he is going to announce his retirement after the year, and I want him, and I think he might come back next season late in the year. That, like, especially if
you guys are good.
Yeah,
they're not going to come back.
Right. No, but I listen. I believe Patrick's going to be back for the start of the year. I think the Chiefs will be very good again, and I think that. So that's. I don't know if that's the right answer, but that's. So. And I can't. On this one. This is one of my favorite athletes and people in pro sports ever. Someone I've been lucky enough to get to know somewhat, and I think he's a legend in his field and what he does, and so I'd like him to play forever. I think he is going to retire, but I don't know if that means he's actually retired.
Is that generally planned, though? Like, generally when guys come back, it's not like they planned on, look.
Correct.
I'm going to sit out the first 10 games.
I wonder, because, media savvy, I will be very interested to hear his retirement speech. Whether it's like, I'm going to hang them up for good versus, you know what, it's just time for me to take a break or step away. Or I bet he leaves the door cracked open a hair.
Yeah, I mean, what you said does make sense. Like, if he retires and they're 8-2 and looking like they could win the Super Bowl, they just need a tight end or whatever, then it would make sense. And I think there would actually be a clamoring for him to maybe come back. He made the Pro Bowl. He's get that good. The Pro Bowl. Yeah, he had a really
839 yards,
he's good.
Touchdowns.
He's not what he used to be, but he's still good, very good player. I think though he will retire as well, and I leave open the possibility of what you said. I'm not sure how next year is going to work out. We'll see if Mahomes is back, but he could either be out the first several games or limited to the point where he's not the same player initially. So maybe next season is another throwaway year, and then he doesn't come back. And then maybe it's too late after that. So, but I think he'll retire.
Jason Witten, Gronk, Jimmy Graham, Darren Waller, all retired, all came back, all were pretty successful when they came back. Travis is going to be in the media. It's not like he's going to disappear. He's going to get a lot of questions. We're going to start seeing, Travis throwing the ball around.
He's not coming back as quarterback.
He was a quarterback in high school.
On National Tight End Day.
Yeah.
Watch it. It will start to.
I love this take, and I just hope it's correct. I hope it's correct. Listen, nobody gets to go out perfectly.
Most people don't, right?
But I would like Travis Kelce to be able to have his last game be a meaningful one.
Yes.
Even if it's sad, just be a meaningful one. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.